Namaste. Welcome to your practice. In today's Settle Your Mind flow, we're going to be repeating movements in sets of 3. There'll be less instruction and more of a flow experience, so you'll be able simply to experience your body moving from shape to shape. We're not going to hold most of the postures too long today either. Let's start cross-legged. We'll get right into it. Either your right leg is in front of your left here, or if that doesn't feel good in your body, have your right leg straight and your left leg bent. As always, if you need to support your hips, you could sit up on a blanket or make any other adjustment you need to. Let's begin by reaching the arms up overhead. And then we'll come into our first twist. As you twist to the right, right hand behind you, left hand rests on the right leg. Pause, let the shoulders fall away from the ears, and take a breath in. Then glide around through center. Walk your left fingertips out to the left and reach the right arm right up over the ear here. You could also hold the side of the head if that feels better in your body. Now everything else stays the same, but sweep your right arm across the horizon and reach to the right. Stretch into the side of the neck. And then we walk the fingertips back in. One more time, arms reach overhead, and now we're folding forward. As you come forward, it might feel good just to lean forward and stop. Or maybe you'd like to sway a little bit side to side. This is another thing that can feel soothing and settling to the nervous system, this sort of rocking movement. We'll take one more breath here, and then bring yourself back up, and let's repeat that again. Arms reach overhead, and a twist to the right. Inhale here. Exhale, take yourself over to the left and stretch your right arm up over the ear. Now the right arm sweeps out to the right. Think about reaching through the fingertips. Walk yourself in. Spine is upright again. Arms come up and we fold forward. Take a few breaths here. If you're really feeling restricted here today, it can be helpful to sit up on something. But wherever you are, you might just let your head drop a little bit, let your head hang a little bit. See if you can let it be a little easy in some way. One more time, walk yourself up and we'll come through again. Arms float to the ceiling or the sky. Turn to your right. Pause for a breath in. Notice if it feels a little more comfortable, a little more familiar. And then as you exhale, all the way around to the side, right arm over the ear. Hold the head or reach. Now, just like we've been doing, the arm comes out to the side, and we take a breath here before walking in and stretching arms overhead, coming into our final forward fold on this side. 2 breaths. When my mind is feeling a little scattered, when my mind feels like it's really busy, one of the things that's helpful is repetitive, simple movements. And so that's exactly what we're doing here today. Bring yourself back up from here. Before we do that same sequence on the second side or with the other leg in front, lean back and let's come into boat pose. Now it could be boat pose with the feet on the floor or the legs lifted, even with the legs straight. You could always hold the legs or reach the arms. So I'm going to go with this middle of the road boat. Take a breath in here and set the feet down to the floor. Bring the hands behind you. Fingers are pointing out to the sides. Press the hands into the floor, squeeze your shoulder blades together and down, lift the chest. If it feels good in your body to lift your hips to the ceiling, feel free to do that as well. Then, wherever you are, bring yourself forward again and back into boat pose. So now we're on round 2 of 3. If you want to work a little bit more, you can start to explore leaning back or straightening the legs a bit more. Feet come down to the floor, hands come behind you into our Purvottanasana variation, shoulder blades together and down. Option to lift the hips to the sky. If it feels good to drop the head back, feel free. That's not something that I enjoy doing. Final time here, boat pose. Now maybe it feels good to really work hard in your boat, or maybe you've learned a little something about yourself in the last 2 boat poses, and it feels better to sort of stay low key. Do what's right for you today. Then, final time into reverse table. So I'm going to show you the most challenging variation here. This is only if you really want to work hard and your body really feels like it can support you here. The legs would go straight, hands are behind you. 2 straight legs, we push up from the glutes, and the bottoms of the feet try to come toward the floor. Take a breath in wherever you are, and set yourself back down. Really nice. From here, cross your legs and come into downward facing dog if that feels okay in your body. Otherwise, make your way to down dog, or you can also do tabletop if you prefer. So, from down dog, if you're with me, we're going to move to plank and back 3 times. If you're in tabletop, take 3 rounds of cat and cow. Otherwise, as you inhale, move forward to plank pose. Exhale, glide back to down dog. 2 more times, feel your body moving, feel the strength of your body supporting you, and make any adjustments you need to. Next time we come forward and back will be the last. And as you settle back into your downward facing dog, remember that we had 1 leg crossed in front of another first, or 1 leg straight and the other leg bent. And now we're returning to that sequence with the other leg in front, or the other leg straight. So for me, it's the left leg in front. It's actually my right, but I'm pretending to be a mirror for you. And I'm so sorry if that's confusing. I know for a certain part of the population, mirroring is just irritating. So my heart goes out to you if that's you. Here we go. Arms reach overhead, and it's a twist to the left. Breathe in here. Your exhale is going to take you around and over to the right, stretching through the arm, or maybe holding the side of the head. Stay with the side bend as you reach the left fingers out to the left. Make sure that your right shoulder feels comfortable and it's not kind of scrunching up by your ear. Walk your way up, reach the arms, and fold forward. As we stay here for a breath or 2, I'm going to invite you to check in and see what you can notice. Has the mind started to settle a little bit? We want to give the mind something to focus on, as the mind's job is to keep itself busy. If we don't give the mind something to do, it's going to find something to do. And so we're repeating ourselves, arms up now, twist to the left. We're repeating ourselves in this sequence so that we've got a little something for our mind and body to do together. Come around through center, reach up and over through your left arm, and stretch your arm out to the side. Walk your way back up and fold forward. The other interesting thing for me, anyway, about repeating poses is that as we come into them again and again, they start to feel a little bit different. Sometimes we notice that tension that was there the first time isn't there after a little while, or maybe we start to notice that there is something there we need to take care of. Arms reach overhead and twist to the left. So in this final twist to the left, notice what there is to notice. And then it's over. Take it around to the side. So if you're somebody who enjoys longer holds, this will not be your favorite practice. Stretch out to the left. And walk your way back in. Float your arms overhead and come forward a final time. I enjoy practices where we hold the poses longer, but I also enjoy practices where we move a little more, and that's what this one is. Now, as we finish this next breath or 2 here, we'll walk ourselves all the way back up to our tall spine. Check in briefly. What do you notice in your body? How's your mind feeling? And then we're coming into downward facing dog. We're not going to do the boat pose sequence again. If you want to pause and do it on your own, you get to do that. 3 times to plank and back. And again, you could also do cat and cow here if that's more comfortable. Inhaling to plank if you want to work with the breath. Exhaling back. Take your time to move in and out on your own 3 times. And then downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, begin to step your feet forward to the front of the mat. Take your feet wide into your comfortable squat position and then drop yourself down into squat. It's okay if the feet have to go very wide or turn out. It's okay if your heels are up. Now the fingertips drop toward the floor, maybe onto blocks as you start to straighten your legs and drop your head coming into a forward fold. 2 more times here, knees bend, hips go back and down into squat. Bow forward as the legs straighten. 1 more time, knees bend, hips settle, and then fold forward. From the forward fold, slide the hands up to the hips and lift yourself up to stand. Reach the arms overhead and slide the hands through the heart. Now just the arms 3 times. Arms reach, maybe you breathe in. Maybe a breath out as the arms slide down. Again, arms lift and hands down. Let's do 1 more of these. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands through the heart. Now we'll move more. Inhale, arms lift. Exhale, fold forward, please. Inhale, fingers to the shins, lift halfway. Exhale, step or walk to plank pose. You could also jump, and then lower all the way to the floor. Inhale to cobra. Exhale to down dog. Let's take that part of the sequence 2 more times. Inhale, plank. Exhale, lower. Inhale, cobra, or if you'd rather, up dog. Exhale, down dog. 1 more time on your own. Plank. Lower, chaturanga or the floor. Up dog or cobra. And downward facing dog. 2 breaths in down dog. Notice how is your mind, how is your body. And then as you're ready, right foot steps forward. Let's come up into warrior 2. In warrior 2, we'll move through a little bit of a sequence. Drop the back arm, your left arm down your back leg. Stretch your right arm up to the sky, coming into exalted warrior. Exhale into side angle pose. Inhale in your side angle pose. As you exhale, straighten your leg and come into triangle pose. So that's our little sequence. Bend your knees strongly back to warrior 2. Reach the right arm to the sky as you come into exalted warrior. Maybe a little side bend here. Exhale, elbow to knee as the arm sweeps up and over, side angle. Straighten the front leg and drop the hand to your leg or the block or the floor for triangle. 1 more time. Inhale, warrior 2. Exhale, come into your exalted warrior, side bending backward. Elbow to knee, stretch your back arm up over the ear. Maybe it goes a little further now. And then arm to the ceiling as you open the 2 arms into triangle. Bend your front knee back to warrior 2. Breathe in here. Look to the front of the mat. As you exhale, hands come down. Step back, downward facing dog first. From down dog, inhale to plank. Exhale, lower the knees. Take them a little wide and drop back toward child's pose. Feel free to rest here or come with me through some rocking chaturanga push-ups. Inhaling forward. Exhale, elbows bend just as much as feels good for you. Press the floor away and glide back to child's pose. 2 more times coming forward. Core is active, glutes are active, and I'm only going as low as my shoulders will comfortably support. Last time, forward and down. up and back. Downward facing dog. 1 or 2 breaths here. Now we've got the second side of that sequence. Step left foot forward and come into our warrior 2. Take a moment to arrive, and then as you're ready, exalted warrior. Side angle pose, elbow to knee, arm comes up over the ear. Of course, you can do any variation you prefer. Straighten the front leg, move into Trikonasana, triangle pose. And bend the knee, come back to warrior 2. 2 more times. Stretch up, maybe a little lateral flexion, a little side bend. Maybe you look at the back heel. Come forward into side angle pose, either elbow to knee, maybe fingertips to the block or to the floor. Straighten the front leg as you move into triangle. The arms are reaching away from one another. Bend your front knee and find yourself back in warrior 2. Last time through. Stretch up and back through the left fingertips. Extend forward, lengthen the side body as the arm reaches overhead. Straighten your front leg and widen your arm bones away from one another for triangle pose. And push your feet into the floor as you come back up into your strong warrior 2. 1 complete breath in here. And on the exhale, hands come down. Step your way back, downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, come forward to plank pose, lower down to the floor. Lift up into cobra. Exhale, lower back down. Bend your knees, reach back, lift up as though you were doing bow pose, but with the hands not touching the feet here. Exhale to set that down. Now, third round, grab the feet if they're there for you. If not, you're repeating bow pose without holding the feet. Lift up, 1 breath only, and then let that go. Downward facing dog. 2 more times forward, plank and lower. Cobra and lower. Hands-free bow pose. Everything that you can, squeezing the glutes, kicking the heels up. Set it down. And then reach back, hold the ankles if they're there for you, otherwise you're repeating the last one. Dhanurasana. Good, set that down. Down dog. We've got 1 more time through the last vigorous piece of work. Forward to plank, down to the mat. Cobra, and lower. Dhanurasana, without the arms first. Lift what you can. Good, set that down. Final time, reach back for the feet or the ankles. Lift up and hold 1 complete breath. Set that down. Press back, please. Downward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Take a moment. Shake your head. Yes and no. And then lower the knees to the floor. Press back. Take a breath in child's pose. If child's pose is not your cup of tea, then feel free to do something else instead. Now, downward facing dog, 1 more time. Right foot steps forward. Rise up, warrior 1. Reach the hands back behind you. Interlace the hands if that's comfortable. Otherwise, you can hold a strap or a towel. Lift the chest here, and then bow forward into humble warrior. 1 complete breath here. And on the exhale, set your left hand down to the mat, reach your right arm up to the sky, lift your left heel so that you come into a revolved lunge. Good, now drop the back heel, push the feet into the floor, warrior 1 again. Let's look at that again. Keep the knee bent as you sweep your arms back behind you. You could also just hold your hands at the waist. That works really well if you want to be a little more low-key or low maintenance about it today. Bow forward into humble warrior, and if you get cramped in terms of your belly and chest, take it too wide to the inside of the leg. Good. Keep your head low for now. Left hand down, lift your back heel. That back leg is really strong, and reach through the right arm. 2 strong arms reaching away. Then push yourself back up, warrior 1. Final time through, hands come behind you. Lift. Bow. Lower left hand to the mat. Think about pushing into the floor strongly. Make your back leg really firm as you reach through the 2 arms. And then all the way back up. We'll close this part in warrior 1. Bring the hands back down to the mat. Step back, downward facing dog. Downward facing dog, take 1 complete breath in and out. Notice how physical activity can be helpful to settle the mind. All right, let's take that flow in the second side. Last standing poses. Left foot steps forward. Push your feet strongly into the floor. Come up, warrior 1. Reach behind you, interlace your fingers. If you can figure out which way was the opposite way of the first way you did it, great. Otherwise, don't think too hard about it. Bow forward. We're coming into our humble warrior. And then lower your right hand to the mat. Lift your right heel and stretch the left arm up to the sky. Strong arms pushing into the floor. From here, drop your back heel, push off from the left hand and from the legs, and we're back in warrior 1. Again, arms behind, lift the chest. Maybe a little more back bend after all this work that we've been doing. Bow forward. Lower your right hand to the mat. Lift the left arm. And a final time, we come up. Take the arms behind you, interlace. Bow forward. Maybe 1 extra breath here, make sure that we really get to feel it. And then right hand down to the mat and into that final revolved lunge. Okay. Push off, strong legs, stretch up to our last warrior 1 together today. And then hands come down, make your way back into your downward facing dog. All right, from downward facing dog, forward to plank pose, lower the knees. Kick your right foot to the right, step your left leg back, and stretch your left arm up to the sky for side plank with the knee down. Lift your left leg into the air. Take a breath here, and then lower your foot and stretch up and over, getting a side body stretch here too. Hands down, left knee down. Let's go right to the other side. Left foot to the left, right arm up. Strong core to help you lift your right leg. As you lower your foot, sweep the arm up over the ear. And then we're back in downward facing dog. We'll repeat that just 2 more times, finishing up our more vigorous part of the practice. Now it's your choice. You could go knee down, side plank, or we can stack the legs if that feels good for you. Wherever you are, lift your top leg. Good. Lower the leg, stretch the top arm up and over. Hand down and over to the other side, either left knee down or roll to the outer edge of the left foot. Stretch up through the right arm. Lift the right leg. Lower the leg and stretch up and over through the ear. Or through the ear, over the ear. Don't move your hand through your ear. I think that would not be great. Final time through here. My mind's so settled that words are starting to become difficult. Here we go. Either side plank with the knee down or side plank with 2 straight legs. Lift your top leg. Lower the leg, stretch up and over. Think about that outer hip reaching to the sky. Left hand down, right away, second side. Roll to the outer edge of the left foot if you're coming with me. Lift the right leg. Lower your leg, stretch up and over. And hand down. Press it back into downward facing dog. Okay. Knees down to the floor. Make your way onto your back from here. As you come down onto your back, take a moment and make any little adjustments with your shoulders that feel good. And then have your knees bent and take 3 sort of rolling or moving bridge poses. So you inhale, the arms reach overhead, the hips come up. As you exhale, the hips come down, the arms come down. Again, arms go back as the hips come up. Hips come down as the arms come down. One more time like that, please. And down. Now pause for a moment, bring the feet together, take the knees wide, and breathe in and out. In a moment, you'll have the opportunity to either repeat what we just did, 3 bridge poses, or if it feels good in your body to do 3 Urdhva Dhanurasana, upward facing bow or wheel poses instead, you're welcome to do that. You could also just breathe and rest. Our Shavasana today is going to be pretty brief, so if you're needing more space to be still now, please feel free to bring that in. Otherwise, set yourself up for your rolling bridge, or reach your hands back, bring the hands by the ears, and press up into your Urdhva Dhanurasana. And then we'll set it all the way back down. Remember, you can also be doing bridge here, especially since we're not giving any real instruction. It's just an option for it. This would not be the place to learn the pose, but if you know it, you're welcome to enjoy it. We've got one more of whatever you've chosen to do. And if you want to stay and breathe for a moment in your bridge or your Urdhva Dhanurasana, please feel free to explore that. And then we'll come all the way down to the floor. Now we'll break our rule of 3s. We'll break our rule of repetition. And just let the body settle for a moment here. Let's try Supta Baddha Konasana, feet together, knees wide, maybe letting the hands rest in the crease of your hips or maybe on the belly. So we've come to the end of our practice. And now we're letting the mind settle and drop. Because we were so steady and so paced throughout our time together, now that we've come to a complete stop, we can pause and see how things are sifting down or settling out. If you'd prefer to bring your legs into a straight position for Shavasana, feel free. Or if you want to take a seat for a moment or two of meditation, that's great too. Otherwise, I'm just going to invite you to let yourself breathe. Maybe notice what, if anything, the effects have been of this time moving with repetition, giving our mind a little bit of a job to do, and asking our body to work a little bit. Now, if you have time to stay longer, please do. Otherwise, it's time to make our transition to whatever comes next in your day. If you'd like to draw your knees to the chest and rock a little bit, you could do that. Or find a way that feels really good for you to start to make your way back up. Thanks so much for joining me for this practice today. This is one of my favorite ways to work when I'm really feeling scattered. I hope it's brought you a little bit more of a feeling of settling, like some of the sands in the snow globe, or some of the snow in the snow globe is settling down a little bit. I look forward to being with you again soon. In the meantime, take good care. Be well.